All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, welcome to another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast, a place where gaming meets comics, meets sports, meets movies, as well as inspiration. Of course, I go by the name of King Von Jr. And of course, for those that are on social media, you can follow me on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. as it says right here. For those that are watching by way of YouTube, as well as well as as well as those that are watching on StreamYard, Facebook Live, and so of course, with WrestleMania, like I said, being at least at least a week away, I definitely want to go into my predictions for this year's WrestleMania in Los Angeles, Inglewood, specifically over SoFi Stadium, home of the LA Rams and LA Chargers. Of course, this is a very intriguing card, and so just like with any WrestleMania, any year going to WrestleMania, of course, you're gonna have fans that'll have their complaints about certain things on the card, but by the time um, I'm so, I'm so, like, but the thing is, by the time the show manifests, by the time the matches and storylines, all this other stuff manifested at the end of the day, that that they'll like I said, that they'll say there was they'll say that overall they enjoy WrestleMania because a lot of WrestleMania is about moments, is about presentation. You know what I mean? And so so if you are just someone that is one of those people that just hate watches, this is not for you. Um, if like I say, if you're just a hate watcher of anything, period, um, I suggest that you get a life, find something else to do. Find something else that you like. You know what I mean? So that's my message for for those that are like I said, that watch things to complain. Um, this ain't the place for it. I'm just saying. But like I say, this is pretty much I guess the tail end of the biggest melodrama story in WWE that we've seen in years. This 3-year saga of of the bloodline. You know what I mean? And so the coronation, the confirmation. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Phone. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, in terms of I guess like the first official bloodline WrestleMania for the storyline is WrestleMania 37. Obviously, when Roman beat Edge and Daniel Bryan as he smashed, stacked, and pinned them. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Like I said, when he smashed, stacked, and pinned them, and he still had the gold glove at the time, looked like an Infinity Gauntlet. So like I said, that's when like I said, when the bloodline really really truly started, really fully started sort of come together. When Jimmy decided to acknowledge the tribal chief. At first it was mainly Jay, but of course, like I said, but of course, later on, Jimmy quote unquote fell in line. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, that was the first one of this saga, and then of course, things progress. And last year, Roman became the unified champion by defeating Brock Lesnar. So on and so forth. And so now this is the trifecta. Because the thing is, like I said, this whole thing 37 to 39, it feels like a trilogy, just about, especially like a bloodline WrestleMania trilogy. And so so now of course, Roman has his next opponent, which is Homelander himself, Mr. American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I'm going to go into that, get into that pretty soon. Especially when it comes to these the promo work that they've been putting out there going into Mania. Now of course, Cody's stepped his game up from a promo standpoint when it comes to Roman, but still Roman, I see he's always ready to have his bars. The fact that he said that I'm sorry, the fact that he said that Cody's always ran away from WWE, then he started his own company, couldn't get over, ran away from there. This, that, and third. So that was like pretty much like the, like sort of like pretty much like the line of the week. And of course, Cody had his own comeback, talking about how how the tribal chief won't have. How the chief won't have a tribe anymore after WrestleMania, and just getting into Roman's head in terms of the downfall, the future downfall of the bloodline, and how eventually his cousins Jimmy and Jay are gonna end up turning on him. How Paul Heyman is gonna go back to being advocate, and how Roman's just gonna be a chief that's just on an island by himself, things like that. Just talking about again in terms of just in terms of the downfall and just the aftermath of WrestleMania 39. And just talking about everything, what's gonna happen on April 3rd. Just playing up, really just feeding into that particular date. You know what I mean? And also, like I said, and also the guy to really look out for the most, is Solo. Solo is the wild card. Solo is is the dark horse out of this whole equation. So yeah, yeah. So of course, like I said, so of course, as far as that, like I said, no matter what, the main one to really keep an eye out on, is the one to really, I'm sorry, like I said, the main one to really keep your eyes out for, is Solo, but because like of course the video surfaced about the video's been surfacing in regards to like when Raw went off the air, and and Roman was just down talking Solo, and just getting up in his face and screaming at him and things like that, and how Solo had his head down. And so and plus people are always talking about how Solo was sent by the elders to keep an eye, I guess sort of like to keep an eye on Roman, or whatever, this, that, and the third, and things like that. So like I say, the way it's looking is it's inevitable. That's only inevitable. Excuse me, like Thanos, inevitable. I use that word a lot on here. That's only a matter of time before Solo strikes, and when he strikes, he's going to give Roman the biggest, the toughest. Let me start over. Let me reword that. He's going to give Roman the hardest spike in history. I mean, R.I.P. to Umaga. You know what I mean? Even though Umaga's been known for having his fair share of of devastating Samoan spikes, it's something about the one that Solo's going to give that will that, like I said, that would just shake everybody to the core. Like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And it's just like, like when it happens, it will just blow everybody's mind. I'm just saying. So let me see, live viewers. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, like I said, as far as that, and also when it comes to the Bianca and Asuka, so like I said, when it comes to Bianca, Asuka, like I say, it's pretty much even more confirmed, more than before, that of Asuka's heel turn, with the way that she attacked Bianca on Monday after their tag team match. And so but even though it's already been, even though it's obviously there that that Asuka is going for that gold, you know what I mean, and she will stop at nothing to reclaim that Raw Women's Championship, and it's really important, especially when it comes to Asuka, because it's the fact that she's never won at WrestleMania, so it's just like on one end you kind of like torn and divided, because on one end you want to see Bianca have a three-peat, and of course people I know some people try throughout there comparing her streak to potentially an Undertaker thing, even though it's way too early for that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, um, like I said, it's just like, um, like I said, I wouldn't quite go there yet, but oh my gosh, but at the same time, let me slow down. If anything, Bianca's still very much writing her resume, writing her story. So, like I say, I wouldn't jump to those conclusions yet, but she's still writing her, writing her story and making her case for being Miss WrestleMania. And speaking of Miss WrestleMania, uh, on Friday Night SmackDown, Charlotte and like I said, Charlotte and her number one contender Rhea got into a fight. You know, it's so got of course they got I'm sorry, they they got into their fight in the crowd, in the audience, everything like that. And so like I said, it's just like I'm looking forward to seeing what else they're going to do on Friday. Like I said, it really starts, um, even though some of the builds haven't been all that great, all that spectacular. I think that's one of the biggest fan complaints. Biggest complaints that a lot of people have been having. It's not so much of the matches, but it's just for certain people, it's just uh, the execution of it, and things like that. So but if anything, this is Rhea's, uh, you know, um, her shot at redemption. For what happened 3 years ago, as I've been saying before. And of course, of course, on Monday night, that so of course on Monday night that they had the tail of the tape when it came to Brock Lesnar versus Omos. You know what I mean? So that's going to be very interesting, very intriguing. I'm not sure exactly what night that match is going to land on, but um, I'm very certain that this match is a WrestleMania spectacle match. So this is going to be something that's going to, like I said, this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be the special traction match. So there's a, like I said, I'm convinced that Lesnar is going to find a way to give Omos an F5. And it really reminds me of when Lesnar superplexed the Big Show and broke the ring. And it's funny how on Monday when when they were going through Brock Lesnar's tail of the tape and and going through his previous opponents, they never mentioned Big Show. So it's very fascinating. I guess that pettiness towards AEW must be super duper real. You know what I mean? So as far as that, sorry, like I said, I guess that must be what it is. But like I say, you really can't talk about the Lesnar, the giants that Lesnar has defeated without mentioning the Big Show. And so Omos is certainly going to be, like I say, looking forward to having Omos as the next notch on that belt, if you will. But this could be the catalyst for the Hurt Business to return. So only time will tell when that's going to happen. How that's going to turn out. So of course you're going to have Becky, Lita, and Trish. Like I said, of course, going up against going up against Damage Control. You know what I mean? So of course, we're going to have that, and there are talks of of Trish potentially turning heel. Like I say, I don't know if that's going to be at Mania, but but there are speculations about that. Of course, on Monday, Austin Theory beat Montez Ford clean. You know what I mean? And so, and of course, the week before that, he beat Angelo Dawkins clean. And so I think that's their way of giving Theory more credibility and making him look more serious, making him look even more of a threat to beat Cena at Mania. The fact that he was able to win without any cheating at all. And just how much of a of a dangerous streak that he's on right now. So as far as that, to the point where he even pointed at the Mania sign on Monday. You know what I mean? So like I said, that's gonna be very very intriguing. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. Logan It's just like on one end, Seth, like Seth thinks that he's going to be more devious than Logan. On one end, on one end, you think that Seth's got the upper hand, has the mind games on him on Logan, but all of a sudden, Logan knows him with that one hitter quitter, and twice, by the way. I said this week and last week. I'm like, man, um, I guess Seth, Seth, um, doesn't exactly have an iron chin himself. You know what I mean? So so that's going to be a very, very interesting. How the match plays out. But at the same time, like I said, Logan has shown that he definitely has what it takes in the ring. You know what I mean? So case in point, look at his match last year when he teamed up with Miz to go up against Rey and Dominic, and also Crown Jewel against Roman. So, like so, so Logan has shown that he can have his own sense of credibility, if you will, in the ring. Of course, we have Edge versus Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell, and last night when I was on Twitter, like a Twitter space I'm on Tuesdays called Turnbuckle Talks, and it was things got rather heated, if you will, when it came to this match, and just and like I said, there are people that are like skeptical about Finn going up against Edge. Like, does it really matter? Does it really have any like real credibility? And I see, there are those that were arguing against it, especially, but at the same time, there are a lot of people that are arguing for it because, myself included, just because of who Edge is and his, like just how decorated his career is, and what type of credibility he holds as a Hall of Famer, legend, radar superstar, arguably the top heel, one of, if not the top heels, of the ruthless aggression era. Pretty much at like Triple H level, nuclear heat. You know what I mean? So there's a reason why he has a very strong argument of being seen as greatest villain, other than Randy Orton. You know what I mean? So and that's why, like I said, that's why, I say that's why, that, for instance, that WWE Rivals episode of Cena versus Edge was so great. And not only that, I even have the Rivals T-shirt. I wore it, I wore it this past Sunday. And by the way, a shout out to side note as far as this past Sunday, in terms of PAWD, wrestling Fight One or whatever, out here in the DC area. Shout out to Trisha Dora for being the longest reigning, seeing a black champion, like wrestling history or whatever, like indies and otherwise, whatever. But yeah, like I say, shout out to her and everything else that she's doing. But so of course, back to back to everything when it comes to Mania. Of course, we got Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental title. So that's, you want to talk about banger after banger after banger. That is definitely a match to look out for. Obviously, you have a fatal four-way for the tag team fatal four-way with Street Profits, Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders, and Ricochet and Braun Strowman. Of course, one of the key matchups of this Bloodline story. The Usos, so putting their tag titles on the line against Sammy and Kevin Owens, and there are people who are thinking that that Roman's going to get angry because of the fact that the Usos decided to put their tag titles on the line with his permission. But on the other end, I would think that if I'm Roman, I'll be glad to see this happen, because of the fact that because Sammy and KO, both made themselves threats to this empire, so if anything, like, why not, especially since Sammy's not in, especially since Sammy's not in the main title picture anymore. Now it's everything zeroed in on Roman versus Cody for the title, and mainly because Cody's, of course, the Royal Rumble, the Rumble winner and things like that. So it's just like, so the thing is, if Sammy can't get the belt off Roman, the next best thing, which was inevitable, was to go for the tag titles, and he finally reunited with KO, and so so as far as that, You know what I mean? So as far as that, I definitely look forward to that. And also, um, also, when it comes to the NXT side, things are really gearing up, especially when it comes to uh, Braun Strowman and Carmella. I mean, not Braun Strowman, Braun Breaker. I'm sorry, Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes for NXT Championship. You know what I mean? And like I say, I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I believe that they're really going to bring the best out of each other when it comes to stand and deliver. And so so it's just like certain things you could say have been misses um, on the under Shawn Michaels' watch as far as NXT, but there are other things that when they're a hit, they are a hit, and without question, this is going to be the thing that really carries stand and deliver in LA. You know what I mean? And so of course I look forward to Wale Mania and everything else that that week has to offer. But of course, without further ado, I'm going to give my predictions, if you will, when it comes to let me start over. I'm going to give my predictions, if you will, when it comes to of course WrestleMania 39. When it comes to the undisputed tag team titles, I'm thinking that this might be. I hate to say it like this, but um, great things are not going to last forever. So if there's anybody who's going to take an L from the bloodline, I'm thinking it's going to be the Usos. Unfortunately, when at the hands of KO and Sammy, just for just for Kevin Owens to finally be I think a triple crown, a grand slam. No, I think more so, I think, so I think more like a grand slam champion or whatnot. And so so of course in that regard, now when it comes to, sorry about that. So yeah, so of course, after that on the card, I'm going to go, of course, going to this Fatal 4-Way tag match, showcase match, when it comes to the Street Profits and Alpha Academy, Viking Raiders, and Ricochet and Braun. The winners for me, I'm going with the Street Profits. Gunther versus Drew versus Sheamus. Um, I'm going to go with Gunther, just for the sake of him breaking Honky Tonk Man's um, IC title record. So of course that's my pick when it comes to that. Edge versus Finn Balor in Hell in a Cell. This is the sort of like the full circle um, conclusion of this storyline. Because the Judgment Day, the genesis of the Judgment Day, took place took place last year in Dallas. We know, like when Edge first became Damian Priest's manager, and that's when they started building the team and everything like that. But it's just like on again, off again a lot, and it's just been dragging on. Going to an entire year. So especially considering that Edge has been taking as many breaks that he's taken, right? And so so of course it's only fitting that I say, so it's only fitting that this storyline ends at Mania and at Hell in a Cell would be perfect, because of the fact that like I guess you could say Edge has taken over that type of match after his match with the Undertaker, and so so of course it, it's so of course yes, like I said, so of course like I said, so of course with Finn getting the win, this could be him. Like, this could be Edge passing torch to Finn when it comes to Hell in a Cell. This could be sort of Finn's domain and things like that. So Finn could definitely get that win. When it comes to Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, I have Seth getting the win on that. When it comes to John Cena, versus Austin Theory, I have I'm sorry about that. My apologies. But yeah, like I said, of course, of course, when it comes, of course, when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to Austin Theory versus John Cena, I have Austin Theory winning, just for the sake of like I said, sorry about that. If you I've been hearing anything in the background, but yeah, like I said, when it comes to John Cena, when it comes to Austin Theory versus John Cena, I have so I have Austin Theory winning, and so yeah, so like I said, when it comes Cena versus Austin Theory, I have Austin Theory winning just because it's time for him to carry the torch. It's time for Cena to pass the torch, to Austin Theory, and Cena has been giving his seal of approval for Theory, even when it came to his like I say, when it came to those promos, I'll certainly say. So of course, like I said, when of course when it came to that promo, like I said, even though, even if and thing about it is that, like I said, and the thing about it is that, is that so of course, even though even though, even though Cena, Cena's, and so of course, even though Cena's had the edge when it came to that promo, that night on Monday, at the same time he still gave his seal of approval, because of the fact that, clearly Cena's seen, um, himself in Theory. He sees the future in Austin Theory. He's seen what Austin's capable of doing, and so, so the fact that Cena's put that much energy into him shows he's certainly given his vote of confidence when it comes to Theory. So for that, just when it comes to, for the sake of passing the torch when it comes to this next generation, I certainly feel that, certainly feel that Austin's going to take it. And so of course when it comes to damage, when it comes to damage control, of course I have damage control versus Becky, Lita, and Trish. I have a feeling that it's probably going to be Lita, Trish, and Becky winning. So when it comes to Lesnar versus Omos, I think that I think this could be it's really tough to say. It's kind of torn between this, because this could be a huge win, on Omos' behalf. But but at the same time, this could be a huge moment for Brock on F5. I'm kind of torn this match. I'm thinking about giving it to Brock, and so so of course when it comes to Bianca, of course when it comes to Bianca versus Asuka, I'm gonna have to give it to Asuka just for the sake of finally breaking that losing streak. Now when it comes to Charlotte versus Rhea, I'm giving this to Rhea to win the SmackDown Women's Championship for the sake of for the sake of redemption in that storyline. And so of course Rhea's going to get her revenge. And so I think Rhea and Asuka are going to both win the championship. And also when it comes to the main event, Roman versus Cody, as great as Cody's been looking, I got Roman retain the title. And so those are my predictions for WrestleMania.